YouTube fans. Today I'm going to be reviewing Transformers Masterpiece and third-party news. This is a continuation of my series on news for new figures. There are actually a couple of new Masterpiece reveals that have come out, just a few, and then the rest of this review will be all third-party figures. So please leave me comments and let me know what you think. Thanks. Takara Tomy has announced the release of Masterpiece Hot Rod 2.0. This is the second release of Hot Rod following the initial release MP9, which did have several QC issues and was not in scale with the MP10 and forward issues. This figure is set to be released in the first quarter of 2016 for a price of $90. A lot of fans looking forward to the second version, as this fixes many of the issues that were existing in the previous figure. Takara Tomy has also announced the release of Masterpiece Shockwave. This figure has been long awaited by fans, and several third-party companies have come out with their own versions of Shockwave, namely the Fan Toys Quakewave FT03. This is set to be released also in the first quarter of 2016 for a price of $174, although that price may change. X-Transbots has released images of their Masterpiece-inspired Inferno called Dante. This is set to be released in late 2015. This is going to be a competitor to the Make Toys version of Inferno. This is looking to be a pretty detailed figure. We'll see more as product images and prototypes come up. Transbots have released images of their Boost and Hatch figures, Masterpiece scaled Wind Charger and Tailgate. These figures are set to be released in December of 2015 for a price of $130 for the set. They're going to be coming in lots of different accessories and features. There are a lot of images comparing them with other Masterpiece figures to show their scale. They look to be right in scale with the Masterpiece Bumblebee, about the same size. But they are basically Trans Ams and looking to be pretty accurate to the vehicles. I think X-Transbots is coming out with a lot of figures and really knocking it out of the park. We'll see the quality of these. They do look a little bit smaller compared to some of the other figures they've released. So this is their Master Mini series versus their Master X series. And they do appear to be slightly smaller than some of the Masterpiece cars. Bad Cube has released images of their Warrior Sun Surge figure, an homage to Sunstreaker. This figure appears to be a very accurate version of a Lamborghini Countach. It does appear to scale very well with the other Masterpiece figures. This figure is set for a October 2015 release at a price tag of $105. DX9 has finally released their D06 Carry, a Rodimus Prime homage with a Target Master. This figure took several months to be released, and when it was finally actually released, Takara had already announced their release of Hot Rod 2.0. I was planning to review this figure, however, now with the upcoming Takara release, I will not be purchasing this. It's still a great figure. There are a lot of reviews out there. Go ahead and check them out, but I definitely won't be getting this one. DX9 has also announced a repaint of the Carry figure called Terror. This is an homage to the Shattered Glass alternate universe version of Rodimus Prime. This figure is slated for a November 2015 release for $165. I do believe it's the same mold. Doesn't look like there's any remolded pieces. It does appear to be repainted. Again, with the announcement of the Takara Hot Rod, I'm not sure if they'll also be releasing a purple version. They tend to reuse their molds as much as possible, so it's very likely Takara will also release a Shattered Glass version of their Hot Rod. And the news doesn't stop there for DX9. They've also announced their release of D07 Tyrant. their Galvatron homage. This figure is set to be released in October of 2015 for a price of $165. A lot of collectors have been waiting for a good version of Galvatron. This really is looking like a highly detailed, highly good, high quality version. There he is next to its G1 Galvatron. A lot of the third parties are now looking to make this. There's also a X-Transbot version of this coming out as well. So again, we have another competition or war between the third parties on a release of a G1 figure. Shifting gears back to Make Toys, they have announced their release of Pandanus, their homage to G1 Scorponok. This is the next figure in their CityBot series. It is said to be a very large figure, also transforming into a scorpion. No release date or price has been posted yet. We'll update you as soon as we get it. Make Toys has also announced their release of Gundog. This is their masterpiece scaled Hound figure. This figure is set to be released in September of 2015 for a price of $90. There are actually two different colors, a lighter green and a darker forest green. This figure is going to be competing with the Fan Toys version of Hound, as well as a rumored Takara release of Hound. Make Toys has also announced their release of Wrestle and Hellfire, their homages to Grapple and Inferno. Both these figures are looked to be very detailed with extending ladder and grapple hook. No release date or prices have been set, although in comparison to some of the other figures, they should be somewhere between $80 and $100. There are also competing figures, so it's going to be a tough battle for the Grapple and Inferno best third-party figure. I wouldn't be surprised if Takara announces their next figure or in a few figures their release of Grapple and Inferno. However, these guys are looking to be pretty cool. Relatively new entry to the third-party game is Voodoo Robots. They have announced their release of Healing Potion Salus figure, their homage to G1 Ratchet. This figure is set to be released in September of 2015 for a price of $120. It appears to include two weapons. This is also coming on the heels of the Takara announcement of their Ironhide figure, and it's pretty well known that Ironhide is a repaint and a reuse of the same mold as Ratchet, so it's very likely that Takara will also be releasing the Ratchet figure, so this will be competing against that Takara release. Unique Toys has announced their next robot in the Triple Changer series, Sworder, their homage to the Sandstorm Triple Changer figure. No information on the release date or price yet. This is looking to be masterpiece scaled, although some people have discussed whether it is accurate to the G1 figure. Unique Toys has also announced their release of Provider, their Octane homage. This is set for September 2015 release and is priced at $120. Several reviews have already been posted on YouTube with the pre-release model. TFC Toys has announced yet another release of a Hound homage called Detective. This figure is the next in their remaster line, slated for a November 2015 release at a price tag of $90 and including several add-ons and accessories. This is looking to be a pretty competitive year for Hound. And yet another new entry into the third-party game, Transform Mission, has announced their release of Masterpiece Guild Senticons, Wild Rider, and Breakdown. They have not yet announced names for these figures, but they're looking to be fairly detailed and in scale with existing Autobot cars. Um, they also have an image of the combined mode of Menasor. Here that is in CGI. This is looking to be a fairly detailed release. No announcement yet on pricing or release date. Warbotron has announced their release of WBO3, their Computron homage. This is slated for a September 2015 release with a price tag of $145 for each figure. That looks to be the main figure. Not sure if all the prices will be the same. This is a fairly large figure and yet another entry into the Computron game. All right, guys, that will be it for today. Please leave me comments. Let me know what you guys think of this. I would like to continue doing this probably once a month. It's hard to keep up. I know there were a lot of figures I didn't even get to. I'm not going to be covering any figures that aren't Masterpiece scaled, but I will definitely try to cover as much as I can in the third party. There's just a surge of new figures and news regarding third party, even new companies that are coming along. So I'll do my best to keep reporting on those and keep showing you guys images and giving you all the info you need. Until then, see you next time, and definitely leave me comments and like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.